Hi, happy Easter for anyone watching. It's Easter day today. I've been for my walk. I've got a chicken on my head again. I've just seen it up there. So I wonder if anyone's going to watch live today. I'm kind of thinking you might all be busy, but I said I'd do it every day. Oh, we've got someone watching. Hello, who's that? Are you going to say who you are? Someone's there. So happy Easter, whoever you are. Oh, a couple of people. Hello, Anita. Lovely to see you. And who else is there today? Let's see. A few other people popping up. You can always watch any of these on catch up as well. So if you go to my Facebook and then scroll back through on Art Jeanni, you can still find all the old lessons. This one's a fiddly one again, but oh, I don't think I put. Oh, I didn't think I did. I think I've missed something. You'll need a needle and cotton as well. So I did forget, you need a long needle. I don't think I put it on my list. I'm sorry, I've been rushing. But if you even just watch today, then you can always do it afterwards. So you can run and get one now if you like. So if you're just coming on, you also need a needle and cotton. So you need a pair of tights or stockings, some socks or something, an old pair of socks, things that we can't use again. So you want tights, socks, maybe cotton, wool or kapok if you've got it, something to do stuffing with, a needle and cotton. And I think I forgot to put that on my list last night. I do apologise. So happy Easter to everyone. Oh, someone's just said happy Easter to me. Thank you. Thank you very much, Emily, as well. And here we are. So I do forget. I do apologise. I've been a bit forgetful the last 2 days. I've been doing lots of things in my garden as well, like I'm sure all of you have. So my apologies. But even if you just watch today, you can always try it afterwards. We've got 5 of you now. Please do like and share this. And if you do it right now, then it goes out live to whoever you like and share it to. So that would be fabulous. So we need some stuffing of some kind. It can be old socks, K-pop, cotton wool, something that we can stuff if need be. I suppose it could be tissues, just something soft, maybe an old piece of fabric, nothing too hard. And we need some old stockings or tights like these, a needle and cotton, and possibly a stapler. We don't need much else. And then the rest of it will be down to finding what you've got around your house to finish it off. Oh, hello, we've got quite a few of you today. That's nice. Happy Easter to you all. So in a moment, because what I'm going to do is quite fiddly, I'm going to point the camera down, which means that I won't be able to necessarily read your comments. So please bear with me if I don't see it, because I'll be looking down and so will you. Hello, Gemma. Nice to see you. Hope you've been enjoying the sun. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you. For anyone who wants to do this, you need some old tight stockings, something to stuff them with, be it K-pop, cotton wool, an old pair of socks, something like that. You will eventually need some bits of wool, bits and pieces, but really that's stuff you can do afterwards. So the main thing we'll do together, or at least you can watch me do it. What you do with it is then completely up to you. Please like and share it right now, because if you do that, the whole thing goes live to a lot of other people as well. And also, thank you for those of you who've put up comments on my Facebook page and also on my Art at the Beach page. But it's really nice to have some positive comments there for other people looking to see if they want to work with me professionally in the future. And also my TripAdvisor is Art at the Beach Newquay. So if you want to put something up there, that would be lovely. This, as I've explained each day, is completely free. And it's just my way of helping. In a strange way, I see it as me helping the NHS. I can't help directly, so I'm seeing by entertaining people at home for half an hour a day is my little contribution. So I hope you're all enjoying it. Do tell your friends about it. I think the majority have seen this before, but if you do want to do the professional lessons with me, it's a completely unique way of teaching, which I've used for things like UK Sport Discovery Channel. The first little 3 portraits show you the progress of a 10-year-old girl in 3 hours, not copying, but totally understanding all the principles. So it's a completely different way of teaching. 3 hours on perspective, then 3 hours on paint and brush technique and colour, after which the butterfly picture was done by a 90-year-old stroke victim after just 4 lessons. The stone one by a 50-year-old German lady after only 4 lessons. Hello, Chris. And this portrait was done by a Sri Lankan gentleman who was 40. Hello, Janice. after just 3 lessons. So those lessons are really good, really informative. Even architects, even graduate artists have said they couldn't believe what they've learned. So if anyone would like to do the professional stuff with me, I'm doing that obviously privately, and I do that all the time. This was done by a 13-year-old boy the other day. He's in London, I'm here, and I taught him via the internet. And I'm also about to start doing those classes in a group Zoom lesson. So if anyone might be interested in doing that with me, that's going to be a little cheaper, obviously, than the private lessons. So that's the thought as well. And the last thing, just telling you the other things I'm up to, is my son James over in Australia and I are doing combined parties for anyone looking for a party. We're doing it through Zoom into your living room with all your guests there to watch. And James is teaching juggling from Sydney, Australia, whilst I'm doing art and craft here from the UK, from Cornwall. So if anyone needs a party as well, there's another option. Anyway, right, we shall begin. Now, I'm going to hook you up into the hoist so you can see what I'm doing. So bear with me that you're going to suddenly lose seeing me for a minute. And then with any luck, you'll see me in a minute reflected in a mirror. Let's see if we can get this set up right. And then you'll be able to, that's it, you can see me, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing as well. So I hope you can all see my table and enough of me. If I can't read your comments because they're all back to front to me now, then I do apologise. I'll do my best to read backwards, but if I miss something, I'll catch up with you afterwards. I haven't got any kapok or any cotton wool, and everything I'm doing, I'm trying to just use stuff everyone's going to have around their house. Now, this is an old pair of socks of mine that I've managed to dye blue, and they're meant to be cream. So I think I've decided they have had their day. And what I'm going to do is, I don't want to do this too tightly, but I'm just going to roll them up a bit into a sort of ball. And then I'm going to tuck one end of the sock over the other one. Hello, Claire. We can see your feet. Oh, that's lovely. Sorry. You can see my spotty socks. How tasteful is that? There you go. Something interesting. Right. So anyway, I've made myself a little ball like that. Now that's going to become the head. And what we're going to do is make some faces. Hang on. Let me get this the right way around for you. Oh, I'm doing this all wrong. Hang on. What am I doing wrong? Wrong direction. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so you can see it in the mirror there. And then hopefully you can see it down here. I can't see what you're seeing. Oh, there you are. It's down here. So you're going to see a face like this. And you can make them into like babies, or you can make them into witches, or you can do, I don't know, whatever you like. Basically, Henry Ford again, the only limitation is your own imagination. So we're going to make some heads like this. When you've done that, which I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute, then you could use bits and pieces you've got around to give them hair, and you could give them a hat, you could give them all sorts of things. And when I once did this in school with some children, what we did was we used old baby grows, little baby, like first size baby grows, and we stuffed those as well. And then we attached them to be the body and then made little hands this way as well. So basically have a bit of fun with it. You could even go back and use our foil figure and give it a soft head, all sorts of things. So we've got a pair of socks. Kapok or cotton wool would be better, but I haven't got any today. So I'm just trying to show you that make do and mend, as they used to say. Now, because they're stripy socks, you're going to see through if I put these stockings there first. So what I'm going to do is use the dark stockings first, just to cover it up. And what I'm going to do is post my socks right the way up to the end of the stocking. There you are. I hope you got a pair of stockings there, Chris, that you're using. Oops, there you are. So I'm going to shove that up so the stocking's the right way out. I just turned it through because it was inside out. And I've put that in there. Then what I'm going to do is pull my hand back like this. You should be able to see me in the mirror at the top. And then I'm going to twist. And then I'm going to push the tights back again like this and pull it back over. Then I'm going to pull the tights down again a bit. And you can see already you can't see any I want to keep it nice and loose in there. I don't want it all to get too compact, so I'm just pulling it all out a bit. And now we've lost seeing the stripes, which is all I was trying to do there, because I only had stripy socks. And as you can see through the table today, I'm wearing spotty socks. So there you go. Now I'm just going to tie a knot through that. And then if we did use a baby grow or something to stuff to make the body, then I could actually sew this inside the baby grow to keep it connected. Now I want my face to be a little bit lighter than that, but obviously you can have fun with this. You can do them whatever colour you like. So I could then put layers of this lighter stocking over it. Oops. So I'm tucking that through. In fact, I think I'll go around the other way again and stick my arm down it. That seems to work easier. So I'm going to put my hand down to the end, grab the head again, pull that down, and then twist it and turn it until I get what I want. Now, I think if I just pull that out, I'm going to have a change of plan here. And just so I can actually twirl that one in, I need to cut that bit of tights off. So we'll use the other bit to go down inside. And this is me doing a mending. If you can do it all with one pair of tights and kapok, that would be a lot easier. It's just because I've only got bits and pieces, but I do like you to realise you can make it work. You just might have to think a little bit on your feet. So I've twisting that in again, going back over it again, and now I've changed what this one looks like. And then I'm going to tie the tights off again, or the stocking off again. And again, I'll keep the long bit dangling because that bit might be useful to stitch the head into something else later. Or if need be, I could cut this off to maybe make arms or legs. Okay, let me get rid of that message at the top. Good. So we've got that. Hello, Vanessa. That's basically the beginning of it. And where we're going to get to in a minute is we're going to turn it into a face that you can then stitch into a baby grow. My sock's got a bit stiff again inside, so I'm just going to move it around a bit. Now for this, you're going to need quite a long needle. So this might be something you have to purchase at a later date if you don't have long needles at home. But what I can then do is poke this through from the back all the way through the stock until it comes through to the front. And I've tied a great big knot on the end of my thread. I've given myself quite a long piece of thread, and I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to make the eye first. So I'm going to make the eye in like a diamond shape. So I'm going back through, and very soon you'll start seeing that the eye bit is starting to pull back in to the face. And you're basically sculpting, but with a long needle. Now, I have got a thimble there, but if you hadn't got a thimble, might be an idea to put something over your finger so you don't hurt yourself, even if you put an elastoplast or something, but a thimble's quite good. And that means if you do have a thimble like this, you can then press down on the end of the needle rather than pressing with your finger and pull it through again. And you can start seeing that the one eye is pulling back now, and I could go back in again and I can fiddle around and do whatever I fancy with this to make it pull back into different places. And you can make some really crazy faces. You could attach this down into like a bottle and then dress the bottle to be the body, or I've seen these attached to canvases and turned into like a freaky three-dimensional piece of artwork. I'm going to take the other side of the eye back now, so I'm actually going in another pinhole. What you're doing the back doesn't really matter because that's going to get covered up. Now when I said that, I heard my needlework teacher, Miss Meyer, who always said the back is as important as the front. I could hear her voice in my head. And so there we go. I think a couple of my old school friends might be watching at the moment. I wonder if they remember her as well. So there we go. I'm going to come up through here. Now, when I do these art lessons, we've done everything. We've done sketching, we've done drawing, we've done a bit of painting, we've done a bit of printing, we've done a bit of 3D. So please don't watch this and think, this weird lady just does strange things with socks and tights. That's not the case at all. So I've now got, I'm trying to get it so you can see it, 3 little dots that I've done that are pulling the eye back. And now I'm coming in from the back again. And if need be, using a thimble. The other way you can do it is press it down against the table to get it to come through where you want it to. But be careful you don't hurt yourself. That's why this is one that you really want an adult around. And I am just doing slightly more fiddly things these Easter weekend because I know that there's going to be adults and big brothers and sisters around. When we get back to next week, I'm going to go back to things that if there is a child watching on their own that they can do on their own. So I just took advantage of the fact I knew there'd be people around. Now, if I get this in the right place now, you can see I've pulled that eye right back. Then I could go on and do the other eye. And on this one, look, I've given them quite a big squidgy nose here. So I'm just going to do the other eye just quickly so you can see me doing it. I've cut right across the back there. If you were worried, you could always stitch it in with a knot first, just so nothing moves. But I'm quickly going to do this eye now. And I'm going to use my thimble because it's going to speed me up a bit. As I said, you could always press down on a table, but not a wooden one, because Mum and Dad do not want holes in a wooden table. So if you're going to press down on something, I would go and get the chopping board from the kitchen or something so you can press down on something that you won't damage. Here goes the next eye just quickly. Someone's written something there. I can't read what it says. Oh, watching. That's good. Right, so we're going to go back through this one again. And I'm making the second eye. I'm doing it with 4 little pinprick holes that I'm doing by catching the stitching. I'm going to do this one again by pressing down on my table. Oh, that one's come through in the wrong place. So I can just pull the needle out again and come through. Try and make it come through where I want it to. Yeah, that's better. Right, thimble or chopping board or whatever you might want to use. And back again. Now, it needs one more hole for its eye, and then I'm going to do its nose for you. If you did a hand or something, then obviously you'd stitch between the fingers. That's a bit easier to think how to do it once you get the hang of doing the face, so you can kind of work your way around. But if you do have a very, very small baby grow around, like the 00 sizes or whatever they're called, and you stuffed one of those with K-pop or something and used it as the frame for a body, that works really, really well. But if you don't, there might be something else you've already got around that you could use. Maybe some of that tubey bandaging that hospitals use sometimes. Right, we've got the 2 eyes in place now. Let's get that so you can see it. There. And now for the nose, I'm just going to do a couple of little stitches over and over here just to stop the thread, undoing. So I'm just basically anchoring it on the back. Now I'm going to come up by the bridge of the nose again, and I'm going to poke this up through. Oops, it's not going. Ah, there it goes. Right, so up it goes. Give it a push with the thimble or something else against a chopping board. And then I'm going to go back over the bridge of the nose. That's going to pull the bridge of the nose back. Now, one of the very first lessons we did was on faces, so you've learnt lots of these proportions already with me if you've watched all the lessons. And I've taken the bridge of the nose back now. Now I'm going to come up at the side of the nose and come through. And I've got to come out a bit wider than you think. And remember that your eyes are roughly halfway down, your nose roughly half again. So I'm coming down about halfway again. And then I'm through to the front, but what I'm going to do this time is instead of pushing through to the back, I'm going to come in through here, through a bit of the sock at the front, and I'm coming across this time like that. And that one I'm going to pull, let's get it so you can see, I'm pulling across the face like that, and that's going to bunch the face together if I go back through it again. And it's going to start bringing that bit forward a little bit because it's going to bunch it together. You can see it started to happen. This is looking a little bit like an elephant at the moment, but never mind. This looks like its trunk. Ooh. Right. So, if you're watching a movie tonight, I have to say these are quite compulsive once you get going, and you could sit there and you could make some faces and then decide what you're doing with them. Or you could try and sew families' members' faces or something, I don't know. A general rule of faces is the more wrinkly bits you've got, the older the person's going to look. So if you're trying to do a baby or something, then you do less stitching. You might just mark the eyes and the mouth or something, and that would pretty much do it. I'm going to come back again, and I'm gradually forcing a nose together by stitching this time across the nose. And you can see a nose starting to come, and I need to tighten it up all the way up to the top. And I'm nearly out of thread. So what I'm going to do now is tuck myself back through to the back of the head here. And you could have a face on both sides if you wanted to be really clever, but I think that would definitely take a bit of thought. I tried that once, but I know the other side came out looking very peculiar. And I'm just going to stitch this piece of thread off by doing a few over stitches like that. And the face is appearing. I'm going to cut that one off, and then I'm going to get myself a new long piece of thread to start doing the mouth and things. But you can see how the face is starting to appear. This one's the one I've done before. Here's one I prepared earlier. Here's this one going. So if I just thread up one more piece of thread quickly, I can then tack back the end of the face. I'm just going to put that one where you can see it. And oops, this is all getting tied up. So this one's a bit of a strange idea, but it's actually pretty good once you get your head around it and once you get used to the idea. Kapok or cotton wool will work better than me using an old pair of socks. But as I said, now that we're at home and in not isolation, but also being self-isolating and everything, I think it's just quite good fun to use up things that are around that you'd have thrown out maybe otherwise. So these were laddered tights and a pair of miswashed socks that I lost the dye in. So I need to take this end bit of the nose here back a bit. So what I'm going to do now is come in from the back again with my needle, use my thimble if I've got one, or as I said, press it down against a chopping board or something if not. Bring it out by the end of the nose, down here, pull it through. Oh, that pulled right through, which wasn't the plan. There we go, pull that one through. And then I'm going to come across and go all the way back through to the back again. So before I was working only on the front, this time I'm pulling right the way through to the back again. And at the end of my thread is still there. So I'm actually going to tuck this one through that loop just to make sure that knot doesn't pull all the way through. And can you see how that's now pulling the end of the nose back through? And you could get really clever and pull back 2 nostrils like that. I'm just going to do another couple first to pull the nose back. So I'm coming up in the same sort of place again. And then I'm going to go back through there again. Push it through. These could become pirates. They could become witches. They could become babies. They could become, well, if you're doing some project ever for school in the future, they could become any sort of face you wanted. And the fact they're skin toned and you can give them all expressions. So we've got the nose happening there a bit. And then I'm going to just drop down and do the mouth. So again, I'm going to come back up where the mouth would be, which is about halfway down from the nose again. Oops. And I'm just going to stitch the mouth in. And so I'm basically showing people where the mouth is. And this time I'm going over a couple of times just to pull it together a bit there. And then I'm going to actually pull back again. And a lot of it, again, is trial and error. So what I love doing is giving you an idea and then letting you play with it and make something of it. So I'm pulling back the middle of the mouth first. So I'm going to come through again and up. So coming up here, and with any luck you're seeing me both in reality and in the mirror. And if not, I'm sorry, it's just if I stand and do this, you'll never see what I'm doing. So tomorrow I'll stand up by the easel again and we'll do something else that will be fun. So look, you can see the mouth going in there as well. And it's started to get quite a lot of character. Now you could obviously give them dimples, you could give them eyebrows, you could do what you like. Now, looking at this one, something else you could do, as we said, is you could start by giving them some hair, and you could stitch it on like this in kind of loops to give it curly hair. So this is a very attractive, curly, red-haired... Oh, I think it's a man now because I'm giving it a bit of a beard as well. There you go. You could get into all of that, or you can use anything. And you can really let your imagination run riot. You could stitch with some darker thread, some eyes in, and we could do like that, like the eyes that we did the other day on the lesson. I did show you how to do eyes and things. You could use some black and some white. But I was fiddling around and look, I found these tiny little googly eyes that I had. So I'm just going to open this up just for fun. I'm going to stick a couple of googly eyes on it. Now, you may not have googly eyes. I just happened to find them here. But as I said, I couldn't find K-pop. So it really is a case of work out what you have got. Don't think about, oh, I can't do it without googly eyes. Yes, of course you can. You can stitch an eye in. I was just looking around and happened to find them. These look really weird when they're laying on the table on their own. Very strange. All right, so here's my glue from yesterday. And I'm going to just glue those on. And then you can see what that might look like. And what can I do with that for a minute there? I'm going to use the end of my needle just to put a tiny bit of glue, because otherwise I'm going to end up with glue everywhere. And I'll do it on the one I've just been doing for you, this one. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue in his eye there, or her eye. And then you could, I'm going to lick my finger and touch the googly bit, and that kind of works quite well. And he's got a little googly eye. Oh, that looks a bit sinister, I think, but there we go. So can you see it there? Let me see. I think you've got it now. And I'm just going to stick a googly eye in his other one. And we could do that with some glue if I'm using these, but you could do it with stitching. And then I'm going to wipe this off on a tissue. You could always give them paper flowers in their hair or something like we did paper flowers the other day. I'm going to lick my finger again and put the googly side up and then press it down. So now he's got two, I'm trying to see what you're seeing. Oh, there we are, two googly eyes that are moving, which all looks a bit sinister and strange. And the hair then, if that goes on, you can start seeing the kind of things that you could do with this. So you've got something like that. So if I hold that one up, you can see it in the mirror, and this way you can see it hopefully straight in front. And you could use different threads. You could stitch the hair on. You could stitch the hair into curls and things. You also could use fur. And I don't have a baby grow here, but if you wanted to do more body, then obviously you could use even this underneath the knot holding it together and stuff this up to become its body. And then you could stitch maybe a bit up onto the neck, kind of from the body, to give it a bit of a neck like that. And you can sort of see what you could do with that. You could make arms and legs by stuffing a longer piece and then stitching like fingers in the end. And I think if you really thought about it, you could do the whole thing as a doll just by stuffing with tights and needles. But you could use other things as well. And as I said, another thought I had, I haven't got a bottle here, but I could use a toilet roll, because I'm still saving toilet rolls for the idea we'll probably do next week. If we stick that through there, through the toilet roll, then that gives you the beginnings of a body. Ooh, his head's falling off. There you go. So you could use that as the beginnings of a body and make your figure out of that. Now I'm going to move the camera back so you can see me properly again. I'm just going to unhook it. So give me one moment, please. There you go. And so there's the face. Let me hold it up next to me that I was just doing. Here's the one I did the other day. Here's the one I made earlier. And you can get as imaginative as you like with the hair and everything else. And then this one I've posted at the moment through a toilet roll. It could be into a bottle, a washing up liquid bottle. Then you get the shoulder sort of shape. And you could then build up a person from that. Or you could use a baby grow, as I said, or you could make a whole body and arms and legs using the whole idea of tights and stuffing them. So I think for today, I shall leave you looking at these very disturbing people. And as I said, I saw one person who once did this, and they did a whole canvas covered in these heads with kind of hair and things as an artwork, and it was quite fascinating to look at. So there you go. This one looks like it's sleeping, and that one looks like he's awake with his beady eyes. So I do hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you some ideas again. And tomorrow we'll do something else. I'll put the list for tonight up tonight as always, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Please like and share, and tell your friends. 2:30 every day on Art Jeanni, and I'll certainly be doing this next week. So far I think we're now on lesson 16, so there are a real range of things. This one's a bit weird and a bit strange, but it's good fun, so I just thought I'd do it when there are adults around to help children with it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for the Easter wishes, Michael, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And take care. Happy Easter. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye. Thank you, Pamela. Glad you made it. See you all soon. Bye-bye.